Hello people, I decided to create a fast, not tutorial, but something like breaking down some mix shaders and textures that I did for that steel that you're watching right now, with a little bit of more post-production here, with some colors and other exposure, adds. So this is the final steel with fog that I added later, and let's jump to the original start scene in order to break down a few tips that I also learned. So I'm using a really nice 3D scan model that you can grab from here. I took that man here. It's a pretty cool model, but you can also grab any other model you see here. This is the site Yobi 3D, but you can also find it from other sources. And I'm using also from the Prograph that plugin. It's called Luminous. It has a really nice spotlight and tents and other cool ads for lights inside Octane. Okay, so let me refresh my viewer. When I start lighting something, I'm always going here into the settings and to ensure that I'm black here, so there's no color from the environment. Okay, so always black when I'm starting to light. Okay, I will go here with path tracing with 500 max samples for faster results right now, and I will keep my diffuse and specular depth at 8. Okay, so I just have from the Prograph a tent in a gray color, and I'm having an Octane light just to start with my first material. Okay, so you see the material. I will start creating here a really nice model, but I'm just placing a polygon reduction here just to make sure that I will have a little bit of fast movement with my navigation tools here, because the model is pretty heavy. Okay, so I'm having my first material, a glossy material. I'm dropping into the head and going here to open its properties, and yep, great reduction. And I'm opening here index 6. Specular, when I have index above 5, I'm going to diffuse and something like about 10, not totally black. And specular, I will go for something like gray, over mid gray, like 85. And here is let me go a little bit further with my camera, and here I will start giving my roughness mix texture. Whoop, here. Okay, cool. And texture 1, I'm going for float texture, dragging here texture 2, again the same. And for the amount, I'm going to choose an image texture, and I'm grabbing here that one, which is an 8K net finger texture. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is here, the float texture works similarly to the gradient mix. Okay, but I think I have a little bit of more control here with two different range from float texture. Okay? So I'm going here to 0.01, and you start seeing the difference here, and also to the live viewer, but basically here to the material. And the next one, I'm going something like 0.25. okay, and here I will have to go into the image texture, and right now I'm power 1, but sometimes it's not enough. Okay, so I will go higher to 8. Okay, and you're starting to see what's happening here. Maybe I will go also to 9. Okay, and what I will do also is I'm starting to get some really nice details here with the roughness, I will, you know, get away the polygon reduction after, but just to start watching what's happening here. And what I will do is to get a little bit of more cool results is I'm getting here the image texture, I'm holding that, as I'm holding I'm going to bump, and then I'm going up and dropping that again, okay? So just fast, you know, movements without copying and pasting, okay? And right here you see it's a huge you know, bump, and it's distorting my final result. So what I'm doing for the bump, I'm going for something which is very, very low, something like 0.07, okay? And you will see that even with that low you know, number, I'm getting a really, really nice result with the bump, okay? I will take off the polygon reduction right here and waiting, okay? It's cool. And you see here how the roughness you know, map has been, you know, set up, okay? We see a variation and we see the bump, and we have some higher number in the roughness power, okay, something like 9, okay? But I will turn on again the polygon reduction, and we will see our model, you know, faster, okay? So this is the first material that I drop, and I'm moving now to the second material, okay, which is our dirt. And I have here an Octane glossy material. I will drop that to my mesh, and I will give that a refresh because it needs to update the whole geometry. So, you know, we're reducing from 1,000,000 polygons right now to 2,000 polygons, okay? And here's my my favorite guy. So I'm going here again. I have something again, I'm going from here to index. I will go here to 6 right now, but I'm going here with the specular again to something like 85%, okay? And here with the diffuse right now, I'm going to load a mixed texture again, and the mixed texture I will place dirt, and for texture 1 and texture 2 I will choose my RGB spectrum and RGB spectrum, okay? I will go here white, I will leave that white, and here I'm going to black, okay? And here I'm going to black. And for the dirt, I will check the invert normal, strength is 10 and details 100%, okay? And I will go for let's go for radius for 0.5 0.5 and something like here, I don't know, 2 clicks, 0.02, okay? So you see what I'm doing with my dirt here, okay? And this is pretty cool what you can do with the dirt. Even though I have the polygon reduction, I think you can take an idea of how my model is you know, looking right now. I will go with the roughness and go up something like 0.3, but I won't need that because you will see what we're going to do, so I'll leave that here. And diffuse specular, and I'm getting my mixed texture, going to opacity and drop that here, okay? And make sure that here everything is totally white, okay? And everything here is totally black because I want that to use something like an opacity map, okay? And I leave my dirt exactly on how it is on my diffuse, okay? And maybe here, maybe I will get back and give something like 0.25 roughness. Okay, so this is my second material. What I want to do here is creating then a mix shader, dropping the mix shader in my head, not in my head, but in the model's head. So there is nothing right now, there's just the mix shader. And what I'm going to do in the mix shader is I'm dropping first my dirt. Okay, so let's name that, let's name that, I don't know, dirt, whoops, dirt 0.1, and let's name the other one, I don't know, roughness. Okay, so I have my mix shader here. First one I place my dirt, and second one as a base I'm going to add my roughness. Okay, and you see what's happening here. My roughness is blending with my dirt, but here in the amount I still have float texture, which means from one material, from 0 to the other material when I go to something like 1. Okay, so there is no real mix. And what I have to do here is I'm getting from my opacity channel the whole copy channel here, but from opacity for the dirt I'm going to the mix, and here I just paste that. Okay, and you see right now they're blending really cool. Okay, what I did is I used the exactly same map from my opacity from the dirt material and use the dirt one and the roughness. Okay, so this is my first mix shader. Okay, and right now what I will do, it's great control, because if I go here to diffuse and in the side RGB spectrum, I can really play with the color that I want for his beard. Okay, so let's say we want something like brown. Okay, and I use that, and really I can change. If I go here to the dirt, I can change that. Okay, the radius, let's say I want something like that. Okay, and the tolerance. But if I do that, okay, I have to copy again the dirt from here to the opacity dirt, and then go again to the mix shader and change again the dirt here with the right one. So whenever I change the dirt in the diffuse, I have to change also to the opacity, and then again to the opacity map here, which is the amount that mix my materials. Okay, another one that you can do is if you go to the dirt one, so let's say I want to control more the specular. So RGB spectrum is, I'm going here 10%. Okay, so 10% for both of them. Okay, I take the whole mixed texture going to specular, pasting that one here. I'm getting again white, the last one RGB spectrum, and then from here I can right now do the same thing, but right now in my specular channel. Okay, I keep the first mixed texture here, but both of these are 10% black. But here in my specular right now I have the white. Okay, and with that one, I just play with the color. Okay, but right now if we keep what I did, I will remove and just keep the 85%. Okay, and let's go again to the dirt, to the diffuse, and change the ideal color for something like, I don't know, something like brown. Okay, which is pretty cool. So this is the second material, and the third one is the first mix shader that we've placed here. Okay, let's create the final material and the final mix shader. So we have our real nice guy here. I don't know, maybe I guess it's a Greek guy. I don't know, Greek philosopher maybe. So okay, so let's move on and create a new glossy material. I'm dropping that into my mesh, and I have to wait a little bit because it's recounting the polygons every time I'm dropping a new material. Okay, so I'm going to Octane glossy. Come on, I'm getting right now index about 3, and diffuse I'm going to load again a mixed texture, but here I'm going right now to use an image texture. Okay, an RGB spectrum. Come on, and here I will leave a float texture, and I will go for something like total black. Okay, here in the image texture I'm going to load my rust blend, because I want to add some rust and more grunts stuff. No, because I already have that. And you start to see what's happening here. Okay, you have the ability to change the projection from here. Right now it's spherical. You can change the projection from the texture here, but I will leave that as it was, and I can see there's no change here because it keeps counting my polygons. Okay, so here I will show you why I have control. It's the same thing with the one that we discussed, and the opacity, because our image is black and white. I just load my image rust blend, and you see here I have my my opacity map because it reads totally black and white. Okay, and I can go to my diffuse. I will place a little bit of roughness, again something like 0.025, and diffuse. And here is the cool thing again. I can go to the RGB spectrum and change with the color. I will go again for something like something like oranges here. Yeah, I will keep that for the moment. Okay, and so right now I have that one, and let me see here. I'm going to create another mix shader. Okay, I'm going to drop that mix shader and name that, whoa, strange, mix shader number 2, and let's name the other one, mix, oh come on, strange, mix shader number 1. Okay, and let's open the first one, and here what I will do, I will drop my rusty texture on it, and for the base material I will drop my mix shader number 1. Okay, and I will give the mix shader number 2 and try to reload so it will count again. Okay, and take some time to update the polygons, sorry about that. Okay, cool. Yeah, and now you see what's happening, because it starts to blend my rust texture with everything that I have here, but it needs one more. It needs me to take the opacity map from the rust and go to my mix shader number 2, and again, in order to mix my rust material with my first mix shader, I have to go here and paste the channel. Okay, so you see here right now what it's doing. Okay, my first mixator with the roughness and the dirt, it's totally here as a basic material, as a first base material, and the second one is my rust, and I'm blading them using my opacity map from my rust. Okay, so it's pretty cool because it starts to give me some really, you know, interesting results, even though the model is still low poly. But what I can do here is go to Octane, glossy material, mixed texture, RGB spectrum, and I can play with the amount and the color of my rust texture here. Okay, let's go for something like, I don't know, red. Okay, and I can go here in the image and strength the power like 4, and opacity, you know, you don't, you know, change the opacity map here, but you starting to have your you know, your basic and your final, you know, model here with an interesting basically there are two mix shaders, and then you just blending them. Okay, and yeah, basically it's not a big deal. Then I will open my final scene to show you a few more things that I did. Okay, and I will remove here the polygon reduction. So you can see that, yeah, and right now you see the final model. Okay, and now I'm jumping to my final model. Okay, recalculate the whole thing. So a few more things about, you know, lighting here. So let me reduce from 2000 something like 500 again. So we'll have something, you know, similar. So what I did here, I just have I will change the camera. So what I have here is basically the Graph Studio Tent. Okay, and I have something like a dark gray, about 35 in value. Okay, and then what I'm using for Graph, which is really cool, is a really nice spotlight. Okay, and then you have the ability inside that spotlight to play some gobos. It's called gobos, it's texture mainly, and I have placed a window. Okay, but you have to stay with fall off 0, because if you go to fall off higher than 1, you're starting not to watching your gob texture. Okay, so I'm just fall off 1, and you have these great, you know, texture lights that you can watch your object, you know, casting all these really interesting lights. So let me toggle info here because we can't see a lot of things. Okay, so right now, except from the spotlight and the Graph Studio Tent, what I did also is a few lights. Okay, there are millions ways of lighting, but as you can see here, these are my 3 basic lights. Okay, and I'm opening them one by one. This is way too high because then I placed fog, and I needed one, you know, one light with strength, so it passes through my fog. So this is the reason this is way too high. Then I have another one from the right, and then I have my third light again. Okay, so right now it's not like 100% right, but I needed to boost my lights because I had the fog, so I gave them great strength. Okay, so what I did after is I placed a landscape, you know, material from here, you know, the classic material landscape. So this is the first one, and what I did, I just increase the width segments and depth segments a little bit. I think this about 200. Okay, so I can have more detail. And I just, you know, threw my final material from the head. Okay, nothing too complicated. You know, I just placed it here. But the only difference is that inside that I checked the use displacement, and inside the displacement I had my image texture, which is a Quixel Mega scan. It's really cool. Okay, so inside that I have a Quixel Mega scan JPEG 4K, like really interesting textures for displacement. Okay, and power about 4, and here the amount, the strength of the texture is 4, and the amount is 7.3 with a little bit of 0.5 for the mid level. Okay, so I have these really nice, you know, details with the displacement, and then when I dropped my material from my, you know, statue and my guy, it really creates a very nice, you know, result. Then a second one. Okay, and then what I also did is what I'm doing with skies. You know, I enjoy doing that stuff with Octane, you know, skies and things like that. First of all, I'm using a sky with an image texture. Okay, and I'm having an HDRI here. Okay, and here my power is about 0.3, so I'm using just an HDRI, you know, a little bit of rotation just to achieve a light that I really like. Okay, so I'm turning on that one. Okay, so you see it's also changing my light, but I'm having here in the type just visible environment, because I want to take only the reflections and the refractions and not the backplate, because if I turn on the backplate I will see the HDRI itself. So I'm turning off that one. I'm keeping just the reflections and the refractions, and in order to set up how the environment color will be, I'm using an RGB spectrum with you know, black color. I'm opening that one, and here it's primary environment. Okay, so which means that this is a primary environment, and the second Octane sky is just taking from the HDRI my reflections and refractions. Okay, so this is the way, you know, I set a little bit in addition with the lights. Okay, and then, you know, finally I use my camera, and you see how things are changing with my camera, because I'm getting here with the camera imager. I'm enabling, I'm using linear because, you know, it's like 100%, you know, pure image without any loot inside. So I'm using exposure of 1.4, gamma 2, a little bit of vignetting here. Okay, and then what I'm doing in order to boost the lights a little bit, I'm going to post-processing enable the bloom power, so it gives me a really nice glow. And it's a little bit higher, to be honest, like 17, but you know, it gives me a really nice result after all. Okay, finally I just placed a volume here. You know, volume is one of the, you know, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of tutorials out there. Okay, I've just used volume in order to give a little bit of depth and fog into my scene. Okay, there are a lot of ways you can do that, from Octane Sky, medium here, add fog from that one, but you know, from here the scene was small in scale, so I decided to just place a volume. So this is the reason you're seeing that here, just from the fog volume. Okay, so you know, this is it. You know, straightforward mixed shaders and a little bit of lights, and you know, I hope you will get something, you know, from that small tutorial. Okay, thank you.